Nostalgia is a liar. It told us that school was fun, that music was better, that petrol was cheaper, and cars had more character. Which is a bit unfortunate, as Tata has brought back one of the most nostalgic nameplates in the Indian automotive history back to life. The Sierra. And that's a problem, because the moment you revive a name like the Sierra, people stop comparing it to other SUVs. They stop comparing it to rivals, to specifications, to features, and instead they start comparing it to memories. And memories are impossible to beat. The funny thing is that the original Sierra wasn't even particularly sensible. It had 3 doors, huge windows, strange proportions, a backseat that needed planning and permission to get in, and yet people still talk about it till this day. And that's because nobody remembers ordinary cars, but people remember the interesting ones. And that's because the automotive industry is full of forgotten cars. Cars that were fast, cars that were more advanced, cars that were even more luxurious as well. And somehow they have disappeared while others have survived. Because the truth is, building a car is relatively easy for any engineer. But building something that people remember, well, that's much harder. Look around today. Most SUVs are trying to be every single thing. They're trying to be family cars, adventure vehicles, luxury cars, technology showcases, even status symbols. And somewhere along the way, they've started looking remarkably similar. But the Sierra doesn't. And neither did the original one. But perhaps that is the missing point, because the best things aren't remembered because they stayed the same. They are remembered because they evolved without losing what made them special in the first place itself. But having said all of that, engineering still matters. Because the funny thing about nostalgia is that everyone remembers the highlights. Nobody remembers the breakdowns, nobody remembers the overheating issues, nobody remembers the compromises that you had to make on a day-to-day basis. What we expect from modern cars today would have sounded like science fiction when the original Sierra came out. We want more performance today, we want better efficiency, we have to comply with stricter emission norms, and we expect engines to do all of that without a single complaint.
Which is exactly why for SUVs like the Tata Sierra to deliver superior performance, Castrol Edge SUV engine oil claims 80% improved high load performance. This engine oil is fully synthetic, BS6 ready, so that your SUV can deliver more power and better acceleration on demand. Maybe that's the problem with nostalgia, because nostalgia rarely wants any progress. It wants preservation. People didn't really want a new Sierra, they wanted the old one back. They wanted to be 20 years younger, and no amount of engineering can do that.
The cold hard truth is that the new Sierra was never going to beat the old Sierra. That's pretty much impossible, because the old Sierra has spent 20 years becoming larger than life. And no modern car can compete with that. Well, because it doesn't have to. Because the job of the new Sierra was never to recreate the past. It was just to recapture that spirit, to be interesting, to be different, to have a character, the very same qualities that you and I love about the original one. Because say 20 years down the line, someone somewhere standing has a conversation like you and I have about the original one now, that is exactly when Tata will know that they have succeeded. Because at the end of the day, nostalgia is dangerous. But every now and then, it's worth taking that risk.